I think we can all agree that this thing looks pretty good, but well, does it live up to its stylish nature? Stick around to find out more about Acer's G6-710 gaming desktop and some of the rather interesting things about it. Check out TechteamGB.co.uk for more awesome news, reviews and other stuff, including more information on this product and many more. Stick around for this awesome video. So starting with the general aesthetics, on the right hand side panel you've got a rather nice Predator logo, and as you can see an area for air to pass through, a kind of slotted design on the front that I'll show you a bit more in just a second, and on the back you have a rather plain aluminium looking case with, as you can see, kind of plastic bezeling that you can easily remove by pushing some buttons down the bottom with the full I/O down there too. On the top you have a turbo button and the power button. The turbo button I'll come onto more in a second, but basically they feel quite nice. And in terms of the kind of front I/O, you've got a Blu-ray DVD drive that is sort of hidden away under this Predator logo. You've also got a 3.5-inch hard drive hot swap bay. Mine contains a 1TB Seagate hard drive. You've also got a headphone hanger, which is quite nice and pops out just above the Acer logo, 2 USB 3 ports, headphone microphone jack and an SD card slot. On the right hand side panel you basically have the same as the left, and in terms of the spec of my specific unit I have an i7 6700K, 64GB of RAM, GTX 970 and 5TB of hard drive as well as a 512GB SSD. Now I believe that this side panel is meant to light up, although I don't think mine did. I'm not entirely sure why, but basically it still looks pretty cool. Inside you can see this is basically just a standard chassis that has quite a lot of plastic sort of bolted onto the outside, and you have that sort of airflow redirection box down the bottom there as well. As you can see, it's not entirely perfectly cable managed, but does have an M.2 SSD on the proprietary motherboard, and also is cooled by a Cooler Master cooler, which is pretty nice. Now when you turn the PC on, you'll notice the red LED accents up top, and if you press that turbo button it will automatically overclock the CPU to 4.6 GHz, which is actually really awesome considering that the motherboard isn't able to overclock, or at least doesn't have user enabled overclocking, so that is actually pretty awesome. Paired with their Acer XR341CK monitor, this is a really nice and aesthetically pleasing desk to look at and to game on. As said, my model comes with a GTX 970, so it can handle this pretty well. Here's a quick noise test. In terms of performance, it kind of works exactly how you would expect a GTX 970 to work. It's pretty comprehensive at 1080p and can just about handle 4K on sort of medium settings, so I was overall pretty impressed with that. In terms of temperatures though, I was seeing, because this is a reference GTX 970 that I had, I was seeing temperatures of about 80 degrees on the GPU, although impressively around about 50 to 60 degrees on the CPU, so that's not too bad. Overall, this is quite an interesting PC in terms of performance, and obviously this specification isn't exactly what you'll see in the shelves, as I'll talk about in just a second, and also there is one pretty big pitfall in terms of what I think of this system that you'll find out in just a second as well, so feel free to stick around for that. Other than that though, I'm very impressed with the styling, and generally the performance isn't too bad, and especially temperatures, that's pretty cool. So this is probably going to be a similar case with the Asus desktop that I took a look at not too long ago, in that people are probably going to tell me that the spec of this system is wrong and that pricing is, not right, and they've seen it on the internet for a better price. And I want to make it clear that this is all at the time of filming, and the spec of the PC that I actually have on my desk over there is an i7 6700K, 64GB of RAM, a 512GB SSD, two 2TB hard drives and one 1TB hard drive, and a GTX 970. Now with that said, the most common spec I found online, which was actually a PC World spec, was basically 6700K, 16GB of RAM, a 128GB SSD and a 4TB hard drive and a GTX 980. Now all of the specs that Acer sent me are listed on the screen over here, I'll put them over there, and that's the specs and the pricing. Now I don't normally mention pricing, but similar to the Asus desktop I took a look at, I have to make a point about this, and that is that if you pick this PC up, or at least the 980 spec PC up at PC World, you're going to be paying just a penny shy of £2,000. Now that sounds pretty crazy, and that's because it is. I went to overclockers.co.uk and spec'd out basically the exact same PC, or at least as close as I could get to it, and I was getting basically the same PC, you would get the same performance, if not better, because they were using reference cards and stuff like that. So this is an overclocked MSI card. I was looking at £1,150, which is £850 cheaper than buying this desktop. And sure, that would mean you have to build it yourself, but even if you got overclockers to build it for you using their, pick what parts you want, you're still going to be, that'll cost you £1,300, give or take, which saves you around about £700 on buying this desktop. And I understand that the whole point of this desktop is that somebody walks into a PC World and they pick one of these up, and then they can game for the next few years until they decide to pick up another one, and that's fine. But and they don't have to care what's inside. But the same with the overclockers PCs, you generally don't have to care what's inside of those. You don't have to know how to build anything, you just need to know how to plug in the wires at the back, and that's it. And for 700 quid, is that really worth the difference between, a kind of cool looking, nice featured, but ultimately cheap case, and not caring about what's inside at all and being able to pick it up at PC World, or, save 700 quid? I'd be interested to know what you think in the comments down below. In terms of scoring, I'm going to have to go with a 1 for 5 money. I've never really given anything a 1, but I think you can understand why. I mean, for potentially £900, that is, in a sense, almost another entire PC. So yeah, in terms of performance though, it's still quite impressive, especially for the form factor and where I assume the pricing kind of should be, so I'm going to go with a 4 for that. In terms of functionality, I think I'll go for a 3 overall, because while it's actually quite nice and is decently featured, it's obviously quite difficult to get inside, and it's okay for a PC. It's actually quite annoying to the ear personally, although that again may just be my model because I have a reference 970 and that sort of thing. In terms of styling, I'm going to have to go with a 5 though, because this thing looks awesome. An overall TechteamGB score, I think I'm going to average it out as a 3, because while it's a nice PC and a decent spec, the pricing is just so way off. And I can't really recommend it that much. I mean, I can recommend the parts, and I can recommend buying the lovely Acer monitor, but the desktop, not so much. So that's kind of it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you've kind of found it useful at all, feel free to leave that in the comments down below, subscribe and like. If you didn't, feel free to dislike and let me know why in the comments down below so I can improve for next time. And I'm sure that you'll let me know if pricing changes at any point as well. And other than that, yeah, if you're picking up this, if you really want to, or anything else on Amazon, it would be really awesome if you could use my affiliate links. There's links to lots of countries down below where you can pick, well, anything up. Doesn't have to be tech, although if you are buying tech, it is quite nice. Also, Vessel is where videos go up 7 days early. There's a free month-long trial if you want to check that out too. And other than that, yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to check out some other ones, we've got plenty, and we'll see you all in the next one.